Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the back room. Today I am with Cox,
What's up, everybody? Welcome back.
and today we're going to be talking about.
And don't do that shit again.
So today's topics, what we're going to get into is the 2021 movie came out, and it was a bit weird. It was Mortal Kombat, but it wasn't really Mortal Kombat. It was it was a movie that came out. So, what did you like, or what did you not like about the first movie? What did you like about the first one? What did you not like about the movie?
What I liked was there was a little bit more of a character building in that movie than there was in like the earlier mid '90s ones, where you get a fucking dude in yellow and blue show up and it's like, okay, you only know that because you played the fucking video game. But this one, it gave you a little bit of a little bit of character building into some of them. What I didn't like was, you get this dude, uh, Cole. It's like, I was like, who the fuck is this guy?
Armadillo Man.
Yeah, the armadillo guy, all kinds of fucking body armor, and that kind of set me, like, man, this dude sucks. But the rest of it, I kind of, enjoyed. It was more new age, and it wasn't like the old '90s ones. So
But the old '90s ones had a bit of now nostalgia, right? We can't go without talking about the old one without saying nostalgia, but it leaned heavily into what I wanted a character to see. Liu Kang did some fire. What's his name? Shang Tsung did his soul stealing things. We had a good version of Reptile, I suppose. We don't even get into the whole Rept. If you know about Reptile from Mortal Kombat and you know his lore, we're not going to get into it. But it showed us a Reptile ninja. It was fine. We got a nice ninja. That was fine. Everything was fine, right? The new movie, the 2021 movie, the with Cole and everything, it wasn't fine, and that's what really I think set people off against it. I don't think it was really the first one with Cole and all that. I don't think it was a tournament movie. I don't think they had the tournament yet. It was 2021. I didn't go back and rewatch Mortal Kombat 1, but to my recollection, it was a lead up to the tournament, right? It was.
it was basically, yeah, a lead up to the tournament, a collection of the champions, and the bad guys, the outworld trying to off these dudes before they even make it. So I mean, you didn't get the tournament, which was,
Did we even get like a main bad guy in number one?
you didn't really get the main bad guy. You got a lot of focus on Sub Zero's their dude, and they're just.
The final fight was a Scorpion Sub-Zero battle from when we saw the introduction of those two people at the beginning of the movie with his family getting killed and I guess Sub-Zero killing his family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the basically, the opening scene was the kind of the buildup of those two characters of the two clans.
So right off the bat, we instantly get invested in Scorpion. We get invested in Sub-Zero. We we just attach ourselves to him as though he's the main character, and then we get Armadillo Man. If he takes more damage, he gets stronger over time. And then somewhere in the beginning, mid part of the movie, we get this amazing character of Kano. Kano steals the show, does Kano things, interacts with Sonya Blade, just like how we expected him to. That nostalgia going back from number one. And he's just a scumbag, but he's the scumbag that we love to see on the
Mm-hmm.
screen.
Yeah, that was definitely, I think, the best character in the film
Hmm.
was the guy playing Kano. It was good. It was, you knew the dude was a piece of shit, but it was also, he played it well. It was pretty damn funny, some of the lines he dropped. And
He did so well for the first movie. I think people were upset he died. He came back in number two. They did bring him back, and it was it's it's video game shenanigans. People get killed by fatalities in this game, and then we load up a new match, round two, run that fight back. It's video game shenanigans at its finest. If a character gets beheaded, decapitated, split in half, or gets their spine ripped out of their back, we expect them to return no matter what, because video game logic.
hmm and you know, it was the whole Cole thing set me off because had no idea who this dude was, and then I think his little power of the armadillo suit was just stupid as hell, and uh, but the rest of them, you had a brief showing of Scorpion in the beginning and end, which that's my character, and I liked the build up in the beginning of the character building there, but then it was just it was fucked, it was gone. I was like, dude.
Speaking of the character building, I wish that we could have got, like, if the first part of the movie would have played out in, let's say, a well woven 15 minutes for 15, maybe 20 minutes for each character. I don't know if that's too long. Interject them. But anyway, so if we got like the reason Liu Kang was already with Raiden, or Raiden talking to the elder gods on how he could have protect Earth, and these are the champions that he's seeking out and why he's seeking them out. Or we could have got some Easter egg with Sonya Blade, because the Cage family bloodline is supposed to be able to kill gods. That's like the new lore, this green energy, that stuff that Johnny Cage used to shoot out of his knee back on the Sega Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
That energy is supposed to kill gods. So we could have got an Easter egg there with the green energy, and we could have got hints at a bigger bad to come later. So letting us know that that the people making the movie believe in the movie. I think his name is, I don't know if you know this guy, but his name is Shinnok. And he's one of the elder gods that rivals against Raiden, that eventually uh, he eventually leads all the bad guys to try to take over Earthrealm again. And this is a balance in that back and forth between Shao Kahn and Shinnok and Shang Tsung. We could have got little tastes of all that. Believe in your movie. Believe in your movie. Give us way future payouts. I'm not talking about like end game, but you could have. You could have. It was there. The
Yeah.
sauce was there.
Yeah. And then, another little aspect I didn't like was, okay, you find what little champions you have, and they go to this fucking temple, and now it's like fucking Jedi training where these guys have got to fucking find their kana and, take some ass whippings before they can, exploit their little powers they have. So it was like, man, okay, whatever. But it worked for some, didn't work for a lot, but it worked good enough to get another movie in there. I'll give them that.
I feel like they were already. I think they already had a budget for it. Like someone believed in them before, gave them the money, and was like, "Ooh, that didn't do too good, but we already gave you all that money, so like you gotta do better."
Yeah, with that big ass end scene, nugget of the Johnny Cage poster. Like, oh, all
Yeah,
right.
that was tucked in at the end of
Mm-hmm.
the. So they gave us a little bit of a payout, but no one was really expecting anything from Johnny Cage unless you're a Cage family fan like I am. So there wasn't really much there to go off for the Easter egg. It could have been better. It could have been bigger. We could have got the strike back of Kuntaro, Goro's father, because Cole killed Goro right
Mm-hmm.
off the bat. We didn't get another Johnny Cage moment where these are $10,000 sunglasses and get punched in the nuts, but
Yeah.
it it was. it was a Cole move. Cole,
Yeah.
armadillo powers. He got beat up and whatever. But anyway, all right. So we had some notable entries in the new movie. They had Kung Lao. He was in the first one with a Melina fight in that temple where they were learning their what was it called? Their kana?
Oh yeah,
Their
the
the
kana.
kana. All right, the kana. And we got we didn't get as much Jack screen time as I wanted. Like I really like Jax as a character. I like the bravado that he brings there. It's militaristic, it's more uh down to earth, in your face. He's the what's that guy from Predator? The 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 black guy from Predator. You know what I'm talking about?
I mean,
Is
Carl Weathers.
Carl Weathers. He was, I want to say Jax was modeled after Carl Weathers. If he wasn't, that's who I saw when I saw Jax, is I saw Carl Weathers on screen. That same character from Predator with a little bit of a twist. That persona, cigar smoking, fists in your face. He was already a weapon, and then his arms got upgraded. Jax is that dude. He is that, even a minor upgrade to a normal person can make a difference in this combat tournament of soul stealing, fire powers, hail spawn, ice ninjas, and gods. And I wish that we would have got more characters, like more characters that you would have liked, that I would have liked, that what you would have liked. So your favorite character is Scorpion.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you feel like he was represented in the movie?
So it got my hopes up right off the gate. You hop in and you're you're in the old Japan, and this dude's taking care of his family, and then boom, Sub Zero shows up, big old fight, and then I was pumped. I was like, okay, they're finally doing these two characters some justice. Doing some plot building, because you really didn't get that in the, like I said, in the early '90s ones where these dudes
Yeah, he
just show
just
up in a
showed
fucking
up.
boat and they walk out these doors in their costumes. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, all right. I mean, you didn't know shit about them because it was just the video. The first
A bunch of
they might have had
cosplayers
they might
showed
only
up.
had like one or two video games out at that time, or however many it was. They come out with those movies, and there wasn't really a backstory to them. But with that, they came out, they gave you that backstory, and you felt like, okay, this dude's gonna have a major role in this movie, and then it's like fucking psych. Here's enter this dude, Armadillo Man, in his fucking kana of armadillo suit that powers him up when he gets beat shit beat out of him. Which so they build this character up, and he spends the whole you know fucking first half of the movie just getting his ass whipped all over the place. You get a random MMA dude beating the shit out of him, then enter these dudes swooping him up and taking him to the temple, and it takes them like shit 8 days of beating the shit out of him, and then finally it takes a four-armed fucking massive dude to show up and
And threaten his family.
yeah,
Threaten
cave
his
in the roof of
family.
his
Yeah.
wife's truck.
So we got some Fast and the Furious in there. I'm surprised. What's his name? Dom Toretto
Yeah, well, Dom
didn't
Toretto just
didn't
show up
show
and
up and,
fucking
and give him extra courage.
yeah. So there was that. And then there was no Scorpion. It's just like, and then you get fed like, oh, this dude's a distant relative of Scorpion. So it's like,
What,
man. So you go from
we didn't. He wasn't actually Scorpion.
the Cole's no, Cole was his distant
Cole
bloodline,
was
the
oh
bloodline. He was carrying the bloodline. So they go from a fucking cool ass character like Scorpion, and then his great descendant is this fucking armadillo guy who keeps seeing him in the mirror and shit, and like go,
But you know what's crazy is that in the video games, in the lore, Scorpion has a, a descendant that's actually loved by a lot of people. His name is Takeda. I want to say his name is Takeda. And he combines Scorpion's techniques together. So Takeda uses these whips that come from his arms, which the whips uh, have those hook sides on the like on both sides, and he brings enemies to him. He just does all sorts of crazy stuff that the original Scorpion doesn't do. It's a new twist on Scorpion's techniques, and everyone already loves Takeda.
Does he have an armadillo suit?
He doesn't have an armadillo suit. It is yellow and black, but it isn't armadillo.
Yeah, and so as a big Scorpion fan, it was like, man, don't tell me they shit they shit on Scorpion to bring this thing in. But then finally, at the end of the movie, you get your Scorpion time. It's like, oh hell yeah, here we go.
And you're wondering why didn't you do this for the entire movie? Was the budget so constrained to where we could only have a good fight at the end? Because we wasted a lot of the budget on the Sub-Zero chase down. They're
Yeah,
chasing down Jax, chasing down Sonya, I think, in that building.
yeah. I mean, if you're a Sub Zero fan, that was your fucking time to shine. It was fucking Sub Zero time from beginning to end. He was in that fucking thing, just fucking everything up. So if you're a Sub Zero fan, that's your movie right there.
If I wish they would have did the Jax getting his arms frozen and broken off more of a fatality type deal, because it was kind of something that happened. He got caught and then he got frozen and he got his arms broken, and it was it was like, oh. And then if you already know some of the lore from the game, you're like, oh, well, this is how he's gonna get his robotic arms
Yeah,
because he has to lose his arms first. It could have been more not like clean cut, taken off at the shoulders and then fully replaced. Maybe have it if you wanted it more realistic, because that's where it kind of is realistic video game stuff. He could have had his arms frozen and mangled, kind of like it would have said something about like the tissues being destroyed and the grafted on arms are still connected to his bones, and that's it could have been more, but we need Jax to have metal arms.
yeah.
How do we do
So
this?
yeah, so basically you had a group of 5 or 6 monks and they're disassembling a bird cage, and then fucking whittling together some fucking R2D2 arms, which you know it I don't know what to think about it, but it was pretty funny.
And Jax was out for the next like what 20 minutes of the movie resting.
Yeah, just taking a nap.
Like you couldn't have took the God of Lightning and gave him some of his kana and and gave him a little bit of a boost or something. He missed the whole training arc,
Yeah,
right? He
yeah.
woke up and it was like,
He
I'm
woke
ready.
he woke up. He had them little fucking the bird cage arms. Instantly, has to jump into a fight with General Big Hammer that just fucks his little bird arms up, and then you know Raiden comes in, zaps him out of there. But yeah, you're right. It could have, with all the ass whippings they took to get their canna. You would have thought old Thunder God could have just shot a couple volts their way and really shortened the
And then
process up.
they instantly had the bad people show up. And this is another thing that they did in Mortal Kombat 2. It was something's going on. We're telling a story, we're doing a plot, and then we get a fight. So a fight happens, and then we're going on to the next little movie point, and then a fight happens, and then it's I wanted to see more fighting, but the wait, it's 2026. There could have been a more integral woven story set up. I just keep harping on this. The video games do it so well. If we were already going to go back to pay homage to Mortal Kombat 1, and we already went with the descendant route for Cole,
Mhm.
then Cole could have been Takeda. Then we could have had flashbacks of Johnny Cage in the first tournament, so that What's that guy's name who played Johnny Cage? The
From the
actual
first
actor.
one?
No, from this one.
Oh man.
He played Judge Dredd. He's in The Boys.
Yeah.
His name eludes me. But we could have had flashbacks of him. We could have brought Cassie Cage, my favorite character, into it. So Takeda could have met up with Cassie Cage, and then we could have brought in. I think his name is. I forget what the. There's a gay guy. There's a gay guy who does uses a bow and arrow, but we would have had everything covered if you wanted to say that inclusion. Chinese dude, white girl, and an Asian guy, and gay. And
Mm-hmm.
then we had Jax, black dude. He's in there.
Mm-hmm.
So everything's covered. You didn't need to. You didn't need to insert it into the movie because it was already there. It was already in the lore. So I wish that we would have seen more crossovers that way. That way the movie could have branched out to a broader audience for those who only played the newer Mortal Kombat's instead of everyone who played the older Mortal
Right.
Kombat's.
And I thought they missed out on a lot of potential good interactions where, you had Kano where everybody knows Kano's, a piece of shit. But then, you had the Cabal and Kano interaction, which I thought was cool because they kind of fed off each other like, hey, you seen a one-eyed guy down there, real piece of shit. So it's like, oh man, these dudes are gonna feed off each other real well. But it was just a little brief minute here and there. But I thought, there could have been better interactions between the characters, but all in all, it wasn't too bad.
uh, was Cabal already in his
Yeah,
he was already in his
yeah.
gas form, and we didn't even get. There's I don't know if you remember from Mortal Kombat 3, the video game. What was it? There was a white dude who was a cop, and he beat everybody with nightsticks. He just beat the fuck out of people with nightsticks. I forget what his name is, but if you know it, sound off in the comment section below. But they could have brought him in there and did some fucking nightstick
I think they let
shenanigans.
that dude loose in Minneapolis, and I think he's serving time now.
Okay, so the second movie lived up to expectations for 99% of all Mortal Kombat fans. We want to see more. We want to see Montaro. We want to see Curtis Stryker show up and do riot control things. We want to see Shiva pop up since they already took out Goro, and I don't remember if Goro resurges back in the new movie. But we got Shiva, Kantaro, we have Montaro, we got um, so many other Mortal Kombat characters to pull from that we shouldn't be mainly focused on what this movie was focused on. It was focused on the katana, it's focused on Johnny Cage, but the katana thing was more of Shao Kahn taking over um, the Earth realm. It didn't really have much of the Liu Kang katana romance, so we missed out on the big romance there. It had elements of Johnny Cage to be set up for a bigger plot point like he should be, but the focus should have been split more between Johnny, Liu Kang, and probably Scorpion. Those are the guys I can think of right off the top of my head that have some of the deepest lores in Mortal Kombat. Liu Kang becomes a god. Katana becomes his wife. Johnny Cage has kids that kills gods. Um, Scorpion leaves behind a legacy and brings together the two clans. I didn't get what I was expecting from the movie. I was expecting the movie to be bad. I was expecting them to double down on Cole. I thought they would give him more armadillo powers. Maybe he would roll into a ball, become Sonic the Hedgehog all of a sudden, and then get spikes out of his back. I thought that they were going to pull another Doom and put us in Cole's eyes and then have us fight a character from the movie. I don't know. Is what were you expecting from the movie?
Well, I was expecting kind of the same, more bad storytelling, bad character development, um, and just, finally getting into this tournament. But you're going to get a lot of, you know, you finally get the Johnny Cage element, you get the katana element, um, finally get in the tournament. Um, what I, you know, after seeing these things, it's like, man, I think they missed the mark because if Mortal Kombat, if the franchise would have taken on kind of like how Marvel did it, you don't got to do it all at once.
Mm-hmm.
Break off a movie, bring in a few characters, build it up, then you got another one, and so on and so forth until you can build that whole genre of characters that are coming into this tournament. I
Do
thought that could have
you
been like a
do you think a single Mortal Kombat character could carry their own movie to bring them together like the Avengers? I mean, not.
well, I think certain characters could, but you'd have to use that certain character to bring in the others. Like you could use, like say, you could use like a Scorpion Sub Zero type thing, where you can use that and also somehow bring in and cherry pick a few other characters and bring it in like a short film, and then you can use the Sonya Blade and Jax kind of element to bring in the Kano and the Cabal type thing.
So the Scorpion movie would be traditional uh, Japanese, Korean, or Asian movie,
That's how, yeah.
like the beginning
Mm-hmm.
of the first one was, and then number two could have been a cheesy movie, kind of more like War Machine. If you guys
Right.
haven't seen our War Machine review, it is on the channel. But yeah, it could have been like that, introducing Sonya and
Mm-hmm.
Jax and that whole squad of Earthrealm. Okay, I'm seeing it.
I think if Mortal Kombat could have done that, like kind of play into the Marvel kind of thing where, we'll take a movie here and then kind of lead into another one, and then that way you're kind of bringing it all together, and then I mean you're making money hand over fist with these things, so instead of just dropping okay tournament
Yeah,
pre-tournament,
yeah. Katana could have had her. What is her realm name? I think it's like Idanalan or something like that. You have the Katana, the Melina, that whole shtick, and I want to say Shang Tsung messing with Baraka's people and Katana's people to make Melina. She's a hybrid, a child. I don't know if she's the child of a child of Shao Kahn, but yeah, you could have done that. Okay, so we got Outworld's backstory, Katana's backstory, Melina's backstory, introduction to Shang Tsung, introduction to Baraka's people, the cheesy military flick, the traditional Japanese movie. I think it could have worked.
yeah.
It
I'm
it
still I'm
did.
a fucking genius. But yeah, I mean, I would have watched it, just because if you're a fan of the game, because I mean, when you're growing up and you go from fucking Super Mario Brothers to what's this Sega Genesis thing, and then bam, they drop Mortal Kombat on you, and then everybody's you're going through the school and everybody's talking about the blood code or the stuff like that, and so I mean that right there was like, oh, okay, okay. So, it had its own lore early on, and then I I just thought that could have been just a smart way to go about it.
So would it if we would have left the movies as tournaments, Mortal Kombat should have released as an HBO limited series that would have gave us those character introductions before the movie. You're you're building up interest for the movie that's coming, the tournament, through the TV show. We used to do that back in the day. We'd watch Power Rangers. We'd see them
Mm-hmm.
fight Lord Zed and Rita, and then the movie was coming up, and then Lord Ooze came out, and he killed Zordon and all that. So we watched all that to lead up to the big threat. Shao Kahn, after all these episodes would have came out, the movie would have came out, Shao Kahn would have had more of a budget because we would have made money from the TV shows, and that would have been our we would have went through the rounds, like going up that tower.
Mm-hmm.
We would have that would have been it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways they could have done it. Um,
They
I
could have
just think they,
explained Kana better.
yeah, I just think they just rushed to put a movie out there,
Mhm.
which I get, everybody wants their buck, but as fans of characters in the game, you kind of want your guys' build up, you know, little backstory. But at the end of the day, I think it's a lot better than the early '90s ones. You're getting the fatalities, you're getting more action. CGI is a lot better. You don't got a half plastic four-armed dude that just continually is doing this. So
I wonder if they were trying to pay homage to the video game. I don't think he was the one who did that a lot. That whole I want to say that was his dad, Kentaro. I think after every time he punched you, he'd flex,
flex on you.
and that was your moment to hit him while he was flexing. Yeah, maybe the budget just wasn't there. There was there was way more fatalities and stuff like that in the second one. Yeah, we got our Liu Kang fire moment. We got our beat downs, our blood, guts, and gore. We got all that. We got some slow motion things in there. Johnny Cage did a little bit of like a Neo move where he was dodging Baraka's uh, things that come out of his arm. But uh, this this second movie, it doesn't give me hope for the third because I feel like they're going in a direction that so they had a goal, Cole. They had a goal that was Cole, and they switched it. So Mortal Kombat 2 was like Mortal Kombat 1. They instantly rebooted themselves come the second movie.
Yep. It it in the end I think it's a good movie. I think they could have gone about it a little bit differently with the backstories and the storytelling, but at the end we get what we want. You're getting the full on video game, you know, video game stuff, and then you know, fatalities. So a lot of action.
Would it have been bad if they put animalities in there or babalities or more brutalities? There's so many different ways that they've thought about killing people in Mortal Kombat. Would that have pushed it too far with doing something cringy like that,
I think that would have worked with like you said, like the little like the HBO series. You could have
mhm,
you could have threw that stuff in there, and I don't think it would have been.
or an after credit scene
Mm-hmm.
of someone getting a babyality or animality put on them? But I don't know if they're trying to do the evolution of fatalities and stuff like that. But so that is going to be our review on the new Mortal Kombat 2 movie. Is it worth your time? Absolutely. If you like the video game stuff, if you want to see Mortal Kombat characters doing Mortal Kombat things, then go see the new Mortal Kombat movie, or you could wait for it to come out on HBO Max in a few months, like it usually does. And then I wouldn't suggest watching number one. You don't got to watch number one to watch number two. Definitely not. You don't got to do that. It's a bad movie. Is we won't even review it on this channel. It's so bad. I'd review the new. I'd review RoboCop 3 before I review Mortal Kombat 1.
Yeah, I'd rather do fried green tomatoes.
Hey, that's gonna do it for us, ladies and gentlemen. Like, share, and subscribe. Hit that button at the bottom, and we'll see you in the
Yeah,
next
see you
one.
the next time.